Terror cover-up in New York City, mayhem on the streets. And what's interesting about this case is that the media is racing to try to blame the opposite side. They're saying that there was an anti-Islam protest there, and somebody started throwing incendiary devices. You see this scene here, chaos in the streets. And who was throwing the incendiaries? We'll go into it, but the media is trying to blame this guy, Jake Lang, and anybody who is there on his behalf. Instead, the truth is, it was not his people who actually threw this thing. It was these two guys, seen here, and we're learning more about them. But Mamdani and NBC New York are trying to frame it as though it was not the people who actually did it, of course, because they can never take ownership of their own efforts. So we'll come back to this, but here was the scene over on the streets of New York. Absolute chaos. This is Jake Lang. He's a former January 6th political prisoner. He is out there protesting the Islamic takeover of New York. Mamdani celebrating mosques being popped up all over the place. And now they're defending incendiary devices that are being thrown. Here was the scene, the chaos out there, and we'll dive into this for further detail to see how the cover-up is unfolding from the media, the narrative perspective. Little volume here. Okay, so he's got a donkey, and they are counter-protesters that are there. And there he is, the incendiary guy. Lights one, starts running off. Cops then ultimately arrest him. And you can see pretty clear as day who he is. And we'll learn more about him in a minute, courtesy of Bill Malugin. But more footage from there. This guy's being attacked by these counter-protesters fighting on the streets of New York. I thought Mamdani was going to usher in a new piece of equality and price controls and free food and everything. And this guy has to defend himself, swinging at the people who are attacking him. Don't know if he looks like he's getting arrested. Don't know what side he was on exactly. But it's madness out there. And the conflict is now here on our streets. New York looks like it's getting cooked right there by Mamdani. Shout out, we got an American flag out there. And now they're banging on U-Hauls. Looking pretty tense and chaotic out there, as we're seeing. And here, Jake Lang, the guy who was out there leading this protest before he was interrupted by counter-protest, said, "I just survived an assassination attempt by these two Muslim men. The homemade bomb they threw landed 3 feet from me. The detonator failed to ignite, thank God, because God is on the throne of my life. We will never surrender to Islam." Here's another video from freedomnews.tv. You can see what is happening here from a different angle. He throws an incendiary, some type of a bomb, lights another bomb. You can see they're working on it right there, and is about to throw that one, but the police see him. Oh, this guy's throwing. So then he starts taking on, runs before he's apprehended by the cops, see him tackled right there. So pretty clear what happened from multiple different angles. But what's curious about this is it turns out that the mayor is blaming Jake Lang and blaming the, quote, white supremacists who are out there on the streets. Mamdani, the commie, said yesterday white supremacist Jake Lang organized a protest outside Gracie Mansion rooted in bigotry and racism. Such hate has no place in New York City. By the way, you're allowed to be a bigot and a racist in America. This is America. And you can have free speech and you can protest for whatever you want. And you can't be violent. You got time, place, and manner restrictions and more. But if you're a bigot and a racist and you're protesting on the streets, it doesn't mean that you deserve a bomb thrown into your face in an attempt to either kill you or to maim you. He says such hate has no place in New York City, which is rich because his wife is liking videos and liking posts that we'll come back to on the 10/7 attack on Israel. So she's in favor of certain groups, but not other groups, which is very interesting. It is an affront to our city's values that are rapidly deteriorating and the unity that defines who we are. He says, what followed, this is the cover-up, was even more disturbing. Violence at a protest is never acceptable. The attempt to use an explosive device and hurt others is not only criminal, it is reprehensible and the antithesis of who we are. Not referencing who was behind those bombs. I want to thank the brave men and women of the New York PD who acted quickly to keep New Yorkers safe. Our officers ran toward danger without hesitation, and shout out to those guys, demonstrating once again the courage and dedication it takes to protect the city every day. Now, my admin is closely monitoring the situation, and I remain close to contact with our police commissioner, but he's getting wrecked in the comments because here's Roz Alerts who says, Mamdani, I think you left out a couple of key parts here. One, 2 types of explosive devices were thrown by 2 Muslims, not Jake Lang or his people. identified as 18-year-old Amir Balat and 19-year-old Ibrahim Nick. During the incident, they were shouting Allahu Akbar, not Jake Lang shouting those things. In fact, Jake Lang was there in an anti-Islam fashion. The explosive device was a homemade IED that was packed with shrapnel, including nuts, bolts, and nails. And fortunately, the IED ultimately failed to detonate, preventing what could have been a far more serious and potentially deadly situation thrown by the ISIS-inspired folks that we'll learn about. If the device had exploded, it could have injured, maimed, and been very damaging. And we're learning more about the names of these people who were ultimately behind it. Here's a close-up photo of these two, one bomb or whatever it is in his hand. And this was the other guy who threw the first one and then ran away like a big baby. But Bill Malugin said, here's what I'm finding. Per 3 federal law enforcement sources, the 2 suspects arrested by NYPD for throwing an IED after yelling Allahu Akbar at a protest in New York City are both believed to be U.S. citizens. Amir Balat and Ibrahim Kayumi are in custody, and the NYPD confirms it was a real IED. So it's not a smoke bomb or something like that. Those firecrackers like light off some black cats or something like that, or those little things that look snappers. And not that, okay? This is a serious big device. NBC is reporting one of the suspects made a reference to ISIS while speaking to law enforcement, and the FBI is now looking at this as potential terrorism, which is not good. He's also told by federal law enforcement sources that the New York City IED suspect, the parents of Amir Balat, are both from Turkey. Wow, you're kidding. And they were naturalized into U.S. citizens in 2017, while Ibrahim Kayumi's parents are both from Afghanistan. Really glad we brought them over here so that their kids could blow up people. Mom naturalized in 2009, dad naturalized in 2004, and now they're here. Thank you to our stupid politicians who brought them in for some stupid reason. I'm told here, says Bill and more, that from federal law enforcement sources that New York City IED suspect, their parents are both from Turkey and they were both naturalized in 2017. Kayumi's parents are both from Afghan. Mom naturalized in 2009. Dad naturalized in 2004. And for whatever reason, there's a bunch of them that are here. And are they really in alignment with American values? Are these the type of people we want to import into our country? I don't think so. But the cover-up comes from not only Mom Donnie, who wants to frame this as though it is not their side. It's Jake Lang's side. He's a bigot, white supremacist, whatever. And his people were lobbing bombs out there. But no, it's actually people who are, I guess, I would say more in alignment with Mom Donnie's ideology.